Now let's stretch over this way here. So that's a decent amount of stretch. See all that material there? We need to stretch that little finger out. And that's going to be a tough seam to get perfect. So we're going for damn good, okay? I'd say that looks damn good. How's it going? My name is Brent from Encore PPF and Tint, and today we are working on a 2025 Lexus GX550, and we're going to install a kit on this mirror. This is a very interesting shaped mirror. The kit fits really good and actually makes it pretty simple. I mean, you do have to deal with some seams and things like that, but on a mirror like this, the stretching that you would have to do in order to do this in like one piece without any seams and things like that, it's going to be a ton, and it's going to be really difficult. So the kit makes easy work of this, really. So let's go ahead and show you how this goes on. All right, so let's get this just wiped off one last time. Get some soapy water on here. I mean, really, you'd have to do some crazy amount of stretching, and I mean, quite crazy to get something like this down, and you were really thinning the material out and really setting yourself up for a failure with the material. So I think that this kit is actually and it's fairly easy to install. So that's a plus. All right, so I'm just getting this top edge here lined up really well. So I'm going to put my finger right there, hold that in place while we line, oops, nope. Let's get this lined up nice and straight here. And then I'm basically just making sure that this piece fits in between the bend here and the bend here. Then we're going to go ahead and squeegee this top out. So that will start sticking itself down. And we're going to stretch it down from here now. So let's make sure, you know what, let's just give this just a second to start setting up here on the top. That lifted up pretty easily. When I lifted it up, this part came up pretty easy. So let's give that a moment here. All right, so that had more than a moment. I took a phone call. All right, so let's wet all that back down. And it's just a slight pull down here. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get rid of this extra material right in here. And we need to bring this down to the bottom right here. So it doesn't need a ton of stretch. But let's take a look. Yep, that lines up really well with the turn here. And that pretty much gets rid of these fingers here entirely. Go ahead and squeegee those out. Let's see how we're lined up over there. Lined up pretty good. Could have done a tiny bit more stretching, but we're going to be just fine. We're going to put some tack solution under those to get those to stay down here in just a moment. Okay, so now let's get these to stay down. What'd I do with my tack solution? What is going on here? Huh. Let's see. Over here? Ah, there you are, hiding from me. Meow. Get over here. All right, now let's put a little tack solution underneath there. And we'll go ahead and push these fingers out. So these spots stay stuck down. It's important that this stuff stays stuck down on these edges because there is a relief cut here, and we need to lay this stuff down and try to get a pretty tight seam. Okay, so I think what I did last time and what we'll do this time is we'll start by pushing this side down. I'm gonna throw a little tack in here. And then let's go ahead, and that just needs to be, I gave it just a tiny tug and laid it down. It wasn't much of anything for a tug. Okay, get that to lay down. And then let's see what we can do here. So I'm kind of like pulling this material and stretching it over this way to kind of close this gap here. There is going to be a little bit of a gap. I want to get that just a little bit closer if I can get it. Okay, let's try that again here. All right, that got it a bit closer. Now it's overlapping a little, so I'm just checking that with my finger here. We don't want to be overlapping. But you know, the seam on this isn't going to be, you know, you could spend a whole bunch of time on this and maybe get it amazing, but I just don't think it's going to be an amazing seam on this ever. But it's pretty good. So, I mean, I'm not complaining when I say that. This is just pretty difficult mirror here. All right. And so I was actually quite surprised with this kit. Okay, let's bring these together. Okay, and then I hold right there with my finger. And then the material is overlapping a little now, so we'll go ahead and bring that back down a little. I'm just following that seam with my finger, making sure that we're not overlapping. Okay, and then I'm gonna pull that a little bit that way and then bump it into each other here with this finger. We need a little bit more tension on it to get rid of this finger here. Okay, there we go. That's good. I'm gonna hold that down with my finger real quick here. Get a little tack in that corner. And then let's squeegee this out here. Okay, and then I'll run my finger along that. All right, that feels really good. And that's going to be a tough seam to get perfect, so we're going for damn good, okay? I'd say that looks damn good. All right, now let's go ahead and lift this up a little. And we'll go ahead and start bringing this one down into place here. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We got a little bit of a gap there, and we're gonna have to live with that. Let's go ahead and see if we can, if we give any more tug this way, we're gonna be hanging over this back, or overlapping these pieces of material, which I don't wanna do. I'm gonna go ahead and push this down, because I don't think I wrapped that down underneath yet, but that is pushed down now. It's gonna need to be pushed down if we want to butt these two up to each other. Okay, and then let's go ahead and get rid of this finger again. And then we'll get all that moisture out of there. Okay, now let's take a look under here. Okay, that is looking very good. Now let's stretch over this way here. So that's a decent amount of stretch. See all that material there? We need to stretch that little finger out. So just like that, gets us stretched enough. And we'll go ahead and squeegee that out. And then we can relieve some of this tension, because it doesn't need so much tension here, but I'm gonna put my finger right there to hold tension on the material so that it doesn't release right there. Because we need the stretch from here to here in order to get rid of these fingers, but we don't need the stretch at the end here. Okay, now let's get a little tack in there. Convince this guy to stay down right now. Beautiful. Okay, now you can see I did stretch enough here into this that we are hanging over the edge, so that is going to require some trimming. I don't know really how else you would do that and not have that. I had that on the other side as well. All right, let's check all this edge here and make sure it's stuck down really good so that we can bring this seam together. Now, let's lift all this back up. Go ahead and wet that down again. And we'll go ahead and wrap this over and squeegee that out. Okay. And we're gonna put a little tug on this and bring this seam nice and tight here. So I'm putting my finger on here, as well as kind of watching it. Now I'm going over, so I need to bring this back. And we're just going up, you know, centimeter by centimeter. Just little areas. And then once I hold my finger right here, that tacks that down, and then I can stretch the rest of this into place and get this line back up. I can feel that we're starting to overhang a little, so I made a little adjustment there. Okay, I'm gonna hold that down with my finger, and then we'll go ahead and squeegee the rest of this out. Okay, now that's down well enough that I can go ahead and let up with my finger, and we'll go ahead and squeegee all of this out. Okay, that one's gonna need to be trimmed off up there as well. Okay, let's get this part to lay down into place now. So a little bit of stretch onto that. Work our way down to our finger there. And if we let... So I just lined this part up. And then let go of it, and then that created a little bit of a finger here, so we can't pull this super tight. Like the other ones, we were able to overhang, right? On this end, which is back here on these ones. But this one needs to line up, so there's only so much we can do with that if we don't want to be trimming that seam. And let's go ahead and squeegee all of this out. Okay. Okay, just drying all that off to get those edges good and dry. So we just need to do a little trimming across here, and then across here and right here, and then heat seal all this and it'll be ready to go. All right, terrific. So that's the process of installing that. And then later on, once that dries a bit, I'll go ahead and trim those and then go ahead and heat seal all those edges. So hopefully you found something helpful there. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one.